Icy mouth or somewhere in the middle. Answering all your questions, so turn it up a little. Is a meat dude. Yeah, it's a meat dude. Yeah.
Dude, we're double digits. This is the 10th episode. Can you believe it?
It's exciting.
Yeah, you're super excited. Typical Spencer. He's got to work off the day in a butcher shop all day, and just came from big worship night, so I'm just like pumped up. I'm like ready to just
let's play some jams.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been cool. But a couple weekends ago, we hosted our first ever My Friend the Meat Dude pig tournament, and I don't want to toot my own horn, but it was total success. Everything went really well. Thanks to Cloverdale Meats for providing the food or the meat prizes. We had, I think, 53 different people participate. 103 games of pig in 2.5 hours. It kind of was a zoo, but also it made sense to just kind of flow. And the kids had a good time. The adults had a good time. There was some interesting shots, but it didn't get too creative yet. But hopefully by the second year, people are going to be like, I got to have that pig shot.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was not there because you scheduled this without talking to
Absolutely. I told everyone you'd give them autographs next year.
Dude, yeah. But the video you made is really cool. If you haven't seen it yet, check it out on our Facebook page. But you made a really sweet reel that kind of showcased the camaraderie, and people took home ham. I've had multiple local people come up to me like, "Hey, I got a ham off your deal the other weekend," or whatever. So it was cool. Excuse to get out and be active, play sports, and then get to eat meat. So
yeah,
it's a win-win.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, and it all leads into Easter weekend when everyone was like, there was a couple people trading a couple packs of bratwurst and some bacon for a ham because they were like, I don't want to go buy a ham, but like I'll trade you all this, and like people were bartering over meat, and it was pretty awesome.
That's funny.
So yeah, definitely something, a passion of ours of basketball. We'll make sure the meat dude is there next year, so we can really ramp it up.
Schedule that out a little.
I might choose more than a couple days prior to doing it. That'd be kind of nice. I know you like to be organized for sure. We have a guest today. It is Jayden from 701 Meats in Belfield, North Dakota. What up, Jayden?
How's it going?
Pretty good,
Thanks
man.
for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's exciting to have another butcher on, have another guest to kind of share your story on our podcast, and that's kind of the whole idea of Talking Butcher Shop, Chop Talk, and just kind of see where it goes with it. So
a little before we get into letting Jayden tell us how 701 is created, Jayden and I, again, met through the association. All butchers that we have on the show so far is we've met through the association, and Jayden has bailed me out, and I think I've actually bailed Jayden out of some situations too, even though we're an hour and a half from each other. We seem to be you're the first guy I call when I have a piece of equipment go down, and kind of vice versa. We've bailed each other out of some situations that could have drastically shut down production. So it's nice having our equipment is kind of the same. We run similar equipment. Our production models are similar. We'll dive into that a little bit later in the podcast of what we're trying to do on both sides of the shop talk per se. But Jayden just wanted that asterisk that he has saved my behind a couple times. So
I think it started with you. I think my equipment went down before yours.
That's right.
With the stuff.
That's right. You had to come get that little 50-pound capacity piston stuffer.
Yeah.
To stuff 2,000 pounds of ground beef in a day with that little tiny piston stuffer.
Oh man.
You got the job done.
It just took 10 hours.
Right. It took a lot longer, but it got it done.
A little better than hand wrapping, though.
That I can believe. So tell us the history, the story of 701. Start there.
Well, coming out of high school, I knew I wanted to ranch. Other than ranching, I didn't know what I wanted to do. But our ranch isn't big enough for multiple families or two families, and with my parents being here, they also worked off the ranch, so it kind of just sparked in my brain that, well, maybe I could tie something into the ranch where it had more value to the ranch, and kind of started thinking about processing meat. My dad ran a buffalo feedlot for 30 years, and we were shipping bison out of here, and and finishing some beef and hogs as well. So we kind of needed a place to go with those too. So it all kind of tied into the farm, taking over the farm and ranch. So I guess in high school I did a couple job shadows at a few different meat processing facilities and seemed to really enjoy it. But the problem was I didn't know where to learn it.
Yeah.
I knew a little bit about pigs, and that was about it. We cut some pigs at home, but beef or bison or anything else like that, I didn't know what to do.
So along those lines, you did find a place to learn how to do it, and that was you had to go overseas, or no, just north?
North of the border, yeah.
Over the border.
Yeah.
So you went to school in Canada, right? What was?
Yeah, Olds, Alberta.
Are you trying to call him out or something? I feel like you're...
No, I'm trying to walk him to say that he went to school in Canada and not America. But
I did go to school in Canada. Tried finding options in the U.S., but in 2018, 2019, there really wasn't many options without going into something else.
Yeah.
And at the time, I didn't really want to do that. Looking back at it, I do wish I had some more business knowledge, but what I did was one semester, and it was like 95% hands-on every day, just like a job. Cutting meat, slaughtering, making a retail case, basically the whole 9 yards.
So was there any difference like that you noticed? So like a previous episode we had, it's kind of a long roundabout way of bringing this through, but we started talking about the Meat Buyer's Guide on a previous episode, and I'm sure you've probably seen it. The Meat Buyer's Guide used to have Canadian specs in it. Did you see a lot of difference learning how to cut and package in Canada versus, what you see around here? Was there a huge difference or not really?
Not really in spec of cutting. The different shops that I've worked in and toured in, everybody seemed to cut the same way, like maybe from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, to where when I went to school, everything was pretty modern cutting.
Yeah.
Lot more pulling muscles and not just running it through the saw. So, no, not as far as spec, but different styles of cutting for sure. Yeah.
So they do it a little different up there.
Yeah, not the bandsaw butcher method, but more of the retail cutout type method.
Yeah, pulling all the extra steaks and whatnot that you can. Not the most time efficient.
that's where Jayden and I get into arguments, because in your own shop right now for your custom processing, you do 80% of it on the bandsaw probably.
Yeah, for sure. It's we definitely do a mix. I mean, I use a lot of what I was taught, but I tried doing more of it right when I came back and built the shop. However, it was hard to teach the customer base what they were getting, because they were used to a certain way of cutting forever. So we definitely do use some of the way I was taught, but I'd say 70% of what we do is probably could have been taught hands-on at a different facility. But I'm glad I went. I'm glad I learned different ways of doing things.
And on the further processing side, your sausage making, and Jayden is also won a lot of awards at NDAMP convention. He makes really, really good product, and you attest that to the schooling. You learned a lot of the science side of further processing up there.
For sure. Previously, like just knowing what I knew before I went, I didn't know a lot about further processing or value added. Basically, from there at the schooling, they taught me everything from recipe developing, tumbling hams and bacons, or tumbling any products. We did a lot with sous vide up there. I don't know, if I would have never went and took that course for value added, I don't know that I would have near the knowledge or know how to do half of what we do now.
Yeah.
It's quite in depth. The instructors are really good about showing us starting points with different spices or trying to create a certain flavor in a sausage or whatever. They're really in depth about getting that across, which was really interesting.
Yeah.
So when you taught, you pretty much were hands-on as well, or you had a lot of classroom stuff as well?
The class I taught at NDSU was solely focused on further processing.
Okay.
So we went into all of that stuff. We broke it down into functional ingredients, spices and seasonings, cooking, like broke every step down on its own and then focused on that for a week. But the difference is my students were not taking that class to continue that on and turn it into a trade. The kids that were in the class that I taught were there because they got to eat sausage, pretty much.
Yeah.
And a question that I always get is, like when I graduated NDSU, I went and ran a plant right out of college, and it was a co-op model. And their question right away when I was interviewing to manage was, "Oh, I didn't know NDSU taught you how to be a butcher." It's like, well, you don't go to school to be a butcher at NDSU, but while I was in school, I worked at the meat lab for 3.5 years, and I just learned all by doing.
Yeah.
We tried to implement courses, tried to do things to, try to hook people into this industry, hook people into what's fun about our jobs, and I always think the value-added side is the most fun, personally. But so it's cool that you were able to find a place that short term. I mean, North Dakota, we actually had a program that got started 3 years ago. They tried to make a go of it, but it's already shut down. It was between NDSCS, NDSU, and then the Beef Commission sponsored kids to go through this program. And there's 3 or 4 that are working in the state that are success stories from that program, but there wasn't enough interest to keep it going. So it's an interesting story to hear Jayden's side and my side. 'Cause Jayden, you are quite a bit younger than me, but not drastically. But it's cool to know that there are avenues for young people who are interested into this world to go get accreditations or go get the training, so that when they get to now Jayden or myself, they're ready to rock walking through the door, instead of us having to invest a year's worth of our time and energy into
essentially give them that school
on the fly while we're
Yeah.
trying to be productive and efficient in our own business models. So
yeah. So tell us about kind of a day-to-day in 701 Meats. Like it's not that new, correct?
Correct. Yeah, we've been going for a little over 6 years now, so we have a pretty good routine of a day-to-day or week-to-week scheduling. We're kind of wrapping up pig season a little bit, but September through usually March or April. Mondays we process beef until like noon area, and then we switch over to pork. Mondays, the pork, we cut all the hogs up, we make all the sausage, try to make all the sausage unless we run out of time. Get the bacon curing in the tumbler overnight. Tuesday morning, bacons go into smokehouse, hams go into tumbler. We start processing beef. Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays we process beef all day, Tuesday through Thursday. If we have any extra value-added stuff on the beef, usually try and pick that up Wednesday afternoons or Thursday afternoons. September through March, usually we're slaughtering 2 days a week. Try to get all the small animals like pigs or lambs Thursday afternoons. Fridays we finish up beef. We do not process on Fridays unless we're behind or something like that. So if all goes like it's supposed to, that's kind of the rundown of a week. And then try and mix retail in there first early mornings before we start any custom work.
Do you only
That's the struggle sometimes.
Okay. Do you only do the retail statewide, or are you
No,
across the
no, we're
states?
just retail exempt, so all of
Okay.
our retail products are sold through our storefront.
Okay. I know you guys were talking technology, and you were talking like bandsaw cuts, and you were talking like pole tendon meat cuts. Like, so this is the great debate you guys have. I mean, are we talking efficiency, or or do you get a better product? Or
Well, I mean, we could have
I'm
that,
opening it
we
up.
could have that debate all day between bandsaw butcher and pull and fab, but no, something that I think both Jayden and I, because we're of the younger generation per se, everything that I do on a day-to-day basis, whether it's equipment-based, technology-based, if I see value in through efficiency, whether through a program or, like I said, a piece of equipment, I'm going to invest in it. So one thing that we've just implemented at 6-in-1 Meats, and it's something that I know Jayden is also looking into, is we have a new cloud-based scheduling, cut sheet collection, notification system that we implemented. When did we start? 2 months ago.
Okay.
And so essentially our customers are now scheduling their slaughter dates online. They're submitting their cut sheets online. They're getting text messages that's reminding them, hey, you have a beef slaughter in a week, you have a beef slaughter in a day, or a text message that says, hey, you haven't filled out your cut sheet, this thing's getting cut tomorrow, you best go in and fill it out. Because you realize once you start looking at the big picture of the flow of a custom processing plant, even though we're federal, I still consider us custom processing as 80% of our business. You realize how much time you spend on the phone, calling people back, and it adds up a lot. And I have two trains of thought, and Jayden, I'll pass the torch to you here in a second, but you can spend a lot of time making your customers, giving them as much information as you possibly can on the phone, right? Mm-hmm. So you can spend 20 minutes on the phone with a customer explaining to them what a flat iron steak is, which I sometimes have to do because we offer that to our customers.
Yeah.
That is my fault, yes. But if we can put it in front of them on a screen where they can figure that information out on their own, they still get the same information, but I don't have to sit on the phone with them for 20 minutes. And somebody described it to me as, in our world, we have no upsale of these beef carcasses. The way we cut, package, whatever, there's really no upsale. We have our flat rate. This is what you pay for us to cut it up. We'll do our best to cut it to your specific specs, your specific everything. But to spend time with a consumer on the phone, we have no upsale. Yeah. On a business standpoint, we need to be as efficient as possible with getting that information so it's correct from the customer exactly how they want it, or else we'll fight some things on the back end. But because of that, not having that upsale to spend time with an individual customer, doesn't pencil out very well. So that's kind of where we're at.
That makes total sense. I think that's fantastic to get that reminder. Oh crap! I need to make some freezer space as a consumer.
Yeah, and then
you get the call and you got all that meat coming, and you have failed.
With our system too, you'll get a text when it's ready for pickup. So yeah, it's kind of cool. And Jayden, I know you've been blowing my phone up about it because you've been looking at a different company, but the same concept, right?
Right. We're in the same boat. I got somebody on the phone hours every day. The biggest thing for me is, and maybe all butcher shops, but our freezer is not big enough. We're always running into freezer space. And there's always a beef or multiple beef that have been in there we give them 5 business days to pick their meat up. Otherwise, we start charging storage fees just to keep it moving. But yeah, Bill gets put in the back of the pile and gets forgot about. When the people forget about their meat, and freezer gets backlogged, and yeah, the biggest thing for us is keeping the freezer turning so we can keep moving beef through it, I guess. And without an automation to that, or just reminders every day, I mean, I don't know how else to do it. And like you said, if there's a simpler way to do things that's more efficient, I mean, that's at the end of the day, that's what's going to keep it rolling.
Well, you would think that the cost of whatever that is comparative to having someone on the phone should either be equal or it should be better. Correct?
100%. I mean,
you
I
lose
look
an employee, but maybe that employee now can help you more on the floor
and be productive.
Yeah,
and that's kind of my mentality too. Is somebody on the phone is not making our business money.
No, it's actually slowing it down in some degree.
100%.
Yeah.
So it's a different mindset. It's a different way of thinking it. It's not the old school butcher shop where people come in and, and we chat for 30 minutes and catch up. Like, that's unfortunately in today's world, we just don't have the time or capacity to do that. And in our industry, in our world, this, again, small scale meat processing, the only way to grow as a business is to become more efficient. Like that is your main goal, is to become more efficient, right? Yeah. And as much as we can produce in an 8-hour day, as long as equipment works and Jayden doesn't have to use a 50-pound stuffer, 50-pound capacity piston stuffer, that's the name of the game. And Jayden, my employees at work today actually brought this up, so I got to bring it up to you. 701 Meats is actively hiring.
Yep.
And I saw it on Facebook. And my employee saw it as well and said, hey, 701 Meats gives their employees free lunch every day. and I said, do you know why you get free lunch every day? It's because it's in the middle of nowhere.
That's also true.
And you'd have to give them a 2-hour lunch break just to go drive to get food somewhere. So now I got to compete with that. Jayden is giving lunch to my employees every day. So thanks for that.
For the boys, Yeah.
You don't want to cook?
Yeah.
I'm too busy cutting meat.
I know how it feels.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not looking for a new job, but what's on the menu?
It's usually all home cooked. I mean, anything you can imagine. We usually try and get new ideas and ask people what they like. Just switch it up a little bit. But we cook all the time. Everything that you can imagine, pretty much.
Cool. Well, it's got to make for a good kind of community within your workplace, because I'm sure you're sitting down and eating together.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, everybody sits down and chats, and whether it's about, usually it's not about work, it's about random things that's going on at home or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, we all eat lunch together. We actually make muffins or brownies or whatever they get at break time, and it's just a good thing for them to sit down for a few minutes and take a break, and there's always something there to snack on or get a drink or whatever. It's really
that's cool.
It's kind of a cool perk. I can't imagine why anybody wouldn't like it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, they aren't talking about work because the boss is sitting there, probably.
Right.
You don't want to be saying too many things to the boss is right there.
That's true.
Yeah. But, that I'm sure you got a good open door policy. They probably could say whatever they want. I'm sure some things get said in the butcher shop,
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Things get said. I always joke with my crew, if somebody had a microphone around the cutting tables to listen in on what we talk about on a daily basis, people would think we're crazy.
For sure.
It's like these guys are just chopping stuff up talking about this.
It's never meat related. It's always just random topics.
You got to pass the time.
Yeah, I get it.
It's like a surgeon that listens to a certain type of music so they can just be in the zone and not think about what they're doing because they're so used to you doing it. You're like a surgeon for cows.
We are.
Yeah.
It's exactly what we are. It's the new definition. I'm not a butcher. I'm a surgeon.
I'm a surgeon of cattle.
I'm going to promote this every single episode. You are still on the board of North Dakota Association of Meat Processors. You are the Southwest Director.
Ooh.
Yep.
Convention is a month away.
Yeah.
Lots of social media posts going out there right now. The speaker lineup looks legit. I'm excited for it. Anything else you want to add?
Should be interesting being in Fargo. I've never, both the conventions that I've been to been in Bismarck, so new location. Hopefully we see some new faces. Other than that, I don't know. I'm just looking forward to it, I guess.
Nice.
So obviously you guys invite other butchers to it or processors that aren't part of the convention, or do you have to be part of the association to make it?
You have to become a member of the association to come to convention.
Like a guest deal just to see what
we have what is the new setup that you guys got going on this year? I don't even know.
Oh, it's like we kind of have it set up now for like administration, like schools, because a lot of schools are doing meat processing courses or whatever. Basically, like an educator's incentive. It's a little cheaper if you're an educator trying to come and learn a little bit, and I don't know, just a good way to get new faces and different parts of the industry in there, I guess.
Almost give them their credits as, accreditation towards what they're trying to teach, right? If you go to something like that, if you're looking for hours or whatever. It makes sense.
Well, not as far as that. Basically, for example, the one I can think of is we slaughter some beef and hogs for Killdeer Public School, which is like 30 miles from us. And then they have a small meat processing lab in the high school that allows the students and the instructor to cut up those carcasses and learn about meat processing a little bit hands-on in school. So basically it would allow those educators just to come in and learn more, but through the speakers and through the demonstrations and different things like that.
I can just imagine the electives in an inner city chopping up like cows where they don't even know where that stuff probably comes from. That would be pretty eye-opening, I think, for a lot of people. That'd be great. That'd be a great education all the way across.
So what you were kind of getting at, though, so like egg educators have to get credits, right? Accreditation every 2 years, just like any other teacher. And I've actually been part of that process for them, where I went to a central location, used one of those traveling meat wagons that they have that travel to all the high schools, like New Salem gets it. It's through I'm gonna butcher this. Butcher this. The North Dakota. Gosh, it's embarrassing. It's an acronym that sets all this stuff up. But I went and we cut up beef with the ag teachers in order for them to get accredited or gain credits towards their teaching license. So that'd be really cool to do at convention as well. I bet we'd start pulling some people. I've never thought of that way, but that's interesting. I think our association is always looking for new things to continue to grow, but you have to pay to go.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not trying to sneak in.
We still gotta make money.
Not even if I do
pay
a
our
podcast.
Pay our bills.
Yeah, you gotta pay your bills for sure. That's funny. Any way that people could get hands on, if the guest lineup is really going to bring that much information, why wouldn't it be? Something for that.
That's cool.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks for the idea, Jayden. You better look into that.
Yeah.
As the Southwest director.
Yeah. The HMFIC.
I'll start digging into it.
Yeah, right on. Well, I think it's question time.
We have a question that we haven't had time in the last 2 podcasts to answer this question.
I brought it up meat bracketology when we were talking expanding meats and all the other stuff, but we were like pretty long-winded with that, so we didn't want to put anybody to sleep during the podcast. So we were going to let Isaac get another question for him. He has been just chugging along for us. So here's his question. And this, both of you guys can answer it, obviously, because they're both pretty good at this. Okay. So, I was grilling a Vegas strip underblade, and it almost doubled in size, kind of like a flat iron does. I'm wondering why they do that. Then, when I was cooking a different steak, it didn't expand. Why is that? And I am super curious about that, because I've never cooked something where it always shrinks. Everything I cook always shrinks, or at least stays the same, right? You come back and they can kind of shift it a little better on the grill or the smoker or whatever.
Okay, thanks.
So this all comes down to water activity and WHC, water holding capacity, whole muscle like a sirloin, not many, no seams running through it. When cooked, traps moisture a lot better. So when it's cooking, water does what? Expands under pressure, under heat. So a nice sirloin that's whole muscle, there's no seams for anything to escape during the cooking process, like a ribeye shrivels up, but you got all sorts of seams. Some portions will puff up on a ribeye, like the loin eye itself. You probably don't notice it because there's just so much going on with the ribeye. But the underblade, the Vegas strip, which you'll never hear that again other than on this podcast.
That's what he's trying to do.
I got another story about that, which is kind of cool. But it's another whole muscle cut that when that water starts getting heated up and expanding and there's nowhere for it to go, it puffs up the meat. So,
well, there you go.
I'm trying to think of any other cuts that's going to drastically do that. Probably like a round steak, and nobody cooks a round steak like they do a sirloin steak, so you don't see that. Like you're not going to throw a round steak on the grill and see it puff up because you're cooking it again low and slow, like you just said, and then it just falls apart. But it's a combination of the cut and the cooking method that'll cause that expansion. So
interesting.
Pre-post weight though, you're not gaining anything. It's just expansion of water. Okay. You know what I mean? Like you didn't turn a 6-ounce steak into an 8-ounce steak just by cooking it. Well, if anything, you did the opposite.
It filled the plate a little nicer,
right?
So
your
it looks more, probably there.
So that's how a restaurant can get away with selling you a 4-ounce sirloin, and it looks huge on your plate, but it's still only 4 ounces.
Well, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to order a Vegas strip, or the person's probably going to go cross-eyed.
Hey, if you saw a Vegas strip at a restaurant, I'd order that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of the Vegas strip?
No, I haven't heard of it. Not a Vegas strip, no.
So
they wouldn't talk about that in Canada.
We did pull it, but it because it's the underblade.
Yeah.
We called it the underblade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of a Vegas strip.
They tried. I remember there was a website devoted to this. Like this was back in college, so this was 10, 12 years ago. There was a website URL devoted to the Vegas strip steak that some company was trying to add value to this cut because the underblade is good. There's a lot of just like a flat iron, a lot of connective tissue seams running through it. But if you peel it all off nice and clean, you create a steak that looks very similar, taste, texture, everything very similar to a flat iron. And they tried to get on this train of calling it the Vegas strip. The mistake I think was made that they didn't have any backing from like the Beef Checkoff or any universities or anything to like help promote it that way. So you don't see it called that very often, but it's kind of an interesting story of the underblade that it or once called the Vegas strip steak.
Well, with Vegas strip, I mean, that might get Googled a lot, but not the steak. If you add ER at the end, it's such a small piece of meat though. Trying to add an extra $5 a half a beef, it's a tough sell. Yeah, but it's like I don't know if you pull off or ever had the opportunity to pull off like petite tenders or something off the shoulder claw. It's the same scenario. It's only like 2-3 pounds of meat that comes off of 1/2 of beef. Goes really really well in the restaurant world. But for us cutting every day, nobody unless like a scrap essentially to you guys, or are you still?
Yeah, it goes in the grind. Yeah. I have a few customers I know what it is that request it, and I'm like, great, you're gonna create a half a meal off of this one piece of meat that you get from this half of beef, but
the education makes it almost more of a nuisance, right?
Kinda. Yeah, a little bit.
Just pretend like you don't know how.
Vegas, what?
I can't do that.
Never heard of it.
Yeah. Well, then you can't live up to the meat dude, though. You better know.
Fortunately,
that's true.
Yeah. I already.
Jayden, you can play dumb. That'd be perfect. But Spencer, I think's better step it up.
I already started this train. I better follow it on.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything Easter wise? We got a big weekend coming up. The families getting together, always having big meals. Obviously, the staple is the ham, just kind of like
Is it?
Christmas. I guess
That's your Easter staple?
That's what I'm gonna get served. I think.
Interesting.
I haven't been told. I guess. I hope it goes to steak or goes to something else. I always just. I mean, if I can vote, I'd take pizza over a ham sometimes. Just because you've had so much ham here.
Well, you haven't had a 701 Meats ham.
Well, no, I haven't. Apparently, Monday afternoons they're working on them, tumbling them on Tuesdays, so I should probably give them a call. Because
I don't know about that.
You don't know about that?
Hams aren't my favorite thing to make.
Yeah.
They're so simple yet a pain in the butt at the same time.
That's true. Yeah, it's a process.
That is kind of a pun because the ham comes from the butt.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
I do know some stuff.
What's on your dinner plate for Easter?
Probably prime rib.
Nice.
Jeez.
I'm the Belfield.
I'm gonna.
The weather's good.
Is that what you're cooking for lunch for your employees too, or what?
I don't know about that.
I hope to have lamb. I like eating lamb a lot.
Nice.
And that's usually the only time that I can convince my family to eat it is around Easter for some odd reason. So that's what I hope.
'Tis the season.
We have a pretty drastic blizzard moving in on us down south here.
Oh,
so I
We
don't
could
know.
get 16 plus.
I don't know if we'll have any people visiting us for Easter, so it might be
you come on over,
the
then
wife
maybe
and
make it
kids. No, you come on over and eat lamb. I ain't
Well,
coming to
honestly,
have
I
your
will
ham.
come to lamb. Yeah, absolutely. I'll bring some za. We'll be there. That'll be good. Absolutely. Well, I know I forgot to ask Emma this in the last one, but we got to ask all our guests.
Oh yeah.
What's your preferred cooking method? Is it the propane grill, a pellet smoker, a normal smoker, a flat top, charcoal? I think I hit them all.
Did you hit gas grill?
I think gas was right away. Yeah.
My go-to is probably gas. I think the ultimate, if time wasn't a factor, sous vide and a cast iron is pretty elite.
We gotta hit that next.
We gotta bring that up. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You learned that in Canada, didn't you?
Yeah.
They didn't have any other ways to do it.
Are you a big smoke? Like obviously you have a smokehouse and you have that dialed in, but at home are you a big barbecue guy or?
Not too much, no. My brother he's got the smoker dialed in, so
Yeah.
if anything needs to get smoked, you kind of just ask him for it.
What's your cooking method on your prime rib that you're having for Easter?
I'll probably just do a reverse sear on it.
Nice.
Put it low and slow and bring it up.
And you're gonna reverse sear it on a cast iron or what?
Yeah, I'm not sure yet either. Yeah, probably that or like a just a big flat top or something.
Yeah.
Just depends on how many people are going to be there.
Have you ever sous vide a prime rib before?
Yeah, we actually did for Christmas.
And I bet it was dynamite.
It was good, yeah. It was wall-to-wall pink. I mean, it couldn't have got any better.
Man, that's awesome. I got to get me a sous vide in my own house.
I need to be educated on this because it's come up multiple times in only 10 episodes. And I know it's like some sort of water or whatever, but like the whole process to me would be really interesting to learn, and for the viewers and everybody watching.
For sure.
It'd be super cool.
We'll get there. We'll devote one episode to sous vide.
Right.
And we'll bring our Canadian trained friend back.
Right on.
To join us.
Right on. Yeah, show up in scuba gear or whatever. You're ready to do it. No, that's awesome. Well, we appreciate your time, Jayden. 701 Meats, Belfield, North Dakota. Check them out definitely on online. We'll love to have the guest and happy Easter, and he is risen. That's happening.
Happy Easter, Jayden. I'll see you in exactly a month.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on. It was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Jayden. And I'm Patrick, and this is Spencer, my friend, the Meat Dude podcast. 10 episodes.
There we
It'll
go.
be pretty cool. Next time we'll know it. It'll be 3 digits.
That sure smells good. Firing it up in the backyard, cracking one. It's time to chill. From the ranch to the steak, take it from the farm and put it on your plate. It's the meat dude, yeah. It's the meat dude, yeah. All the degrees from universities, bringing science in on how hot it's supposed to be. It's the meat dude, yeah. It's the meat dude, yeah. Spicy, mild, or somewhere in the middle. Answering all your questions, so turn it up a little. It's a meat dude, yeah. It's a meat dude, yeah.